Hi, I'm Kaylin and I'm a Politics and IR student here, and I'm going to be showing you around the Politics and International Relations department and introducing you some people and societies. So we're going to start off by going to a first year lecture with Andreas, who teaches politics, theories and ideologies, and this is an example of what a first year lecture would look like.
So today we're going to start thinking about the ideal of social justice. John Rawls is definitely one of the most influential philosophers of the 20th century. We're going to see how liberty and equality and rights can come together in an architectural kind of plan on how to organize society, at least in principle.
So now we're going to go meet the Politics Society. Hi everyone!
Hi! We meet weekly to discuss current events, global issues, and international domestic politics.
So last week we were discussing the rise of China and whether it can rise peacefully or not.
It's all about getting your opinions out. That's from where we see the diverse culture that surrounds Goldsmiths.
It's nice to have people from different cultures because they can provide a direct point of view. It's really stimulating.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So we're just going to head into Warmington Tower. I'm going to introduce you to one of my lecturers, Raj, and Sanjay, who runs the Center for Post-colonial Studies.
Hi, Kaylin. Come
How
in,
are
sit
you?
down. I'm good.
And what would you say this centre adds to the experience at Goldsmiths?
When we say we study the world, we actually mean the world. Because when I moved to this country 11 years ago, I was a little dismayed to discover that you could do a politics degree, which was basically a degree about Europe and European thought. And frankly, I don't think it should be possible to do that. The categories that we use and that we teach our students have a long, mostly European history. That doesn't mean we shouldn't use them, but it means we should use them critically in a way that a carpenter might examine his or her tools regularly. The people involved in it come from many disciplines across Goldsmiths and indeed internationally. We do a whole lot of things, guest speakers, guest talks. We had a very successful film series. We have a series running at the moment on the Middle East, a series of invited guest speakers, and undergraduates are encouraged to come to that, and many have been coming.
Thank you so much.
See you next term. Bye, Kaylin.
Hi, Kaylin. Hi.
What would you say is your approach to teaching contemporary Japan?
There's a tendency to think about Japan as this sort of exotic, homogeneous island country. And what I want to demonstrate is that Japan is absolutely integrally tied to many of the discourses of nationalism, imperialism, race. Look at the ways in which the occupation actually affected the people who were occupied. We take questions of culture really seriously in thinking about politics. And with regard to Japan, then, we've got to look at manga, anime, and the most dominant cultural forms that people consume in Japan today.
First year I took the main modules where you get a grounding in political thought, but then I decided to choose more post-colonial theory, things like rough politics, politics of vision, so different options to expand your own view on what is politics.
See you in class.
So next we're going to go to the Political Economy Research Center. Hi, can you guys tell me a little bit about PERC?
It brings together a number of researchers who are working on different areas of political economy, and it hosts a number of public events. We've been running a lot of events around what are the effects of the financial system on the sustainability of the planet.
The kind of broad research ethos and the broad spirit of PERC is felt by the way that what we're teaching is how the world isn't a given. So what we do when we're teaching and when we're researching is to say, how do we get like this? Why have we got like this? Who's gained out of this? And on that basis, what are the opportunities for change and how is it going to necessarily change?
Hi. So how do students encounter PERC research?
We try to use PERC as a way of keeping students in touch with what we think are the kind of live, newsworthy political and economic debates of the moment. Some of our political economy students created a new student society 2 or 3 years back called New School Economics to address issues that they consider to be of pressing concern to them politically.
Hey!
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben. So you're the president of the society.
Yeah, it's a really good community to be involved in. We've managed to integrate anthropologists, some sociologists, some straight up econometrics students, kind of distracting the narrative that economics is a purely numerical and mathematical formulation.
I think one of the, always going to be one of the greatest strengths of Goldsmiths is that you're going to have economists and sociologists and anthropologists actually being able to have these conversations with each other, and really interesting and innovative things come out of it as a result.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Will.
great.
The Politics and II department here is both a unique blend of traditional politics as well as post-colonial theory. There's a diverse student body here that will make you feel welcome, and there's always room for debates.